Okay, I guess I am live now. Um, Hi, this is George Shamon, and in this video, I'm gonna go over how to add an image in the HTML CSS document, uh, as the title says. Down. Okay, so just to make sure it's running. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code, and this is the index.html page that I'm using all the time. So I'm gonna show it in the live server, which will show you how your code will look like on a website on the internet, but it's done on your local machine. I tried this morning, and I added my picture here to the page. I'm gonna remove it now and show you again how to add it. So if I go to the it's right here, and that's what I like about the live server extension. It just show you everything instantaneous once you have a directory or folder which has your images in it. And this is what I have here, img. It's a folder, and so this is the image folder. If I expand it, I have the headshot1.png. That's the picture file that you just showed now. So now I'm gonna add it to the index.html page. So basically, I'm adding this picture, this one here, to the index. So let's say I want to add it between paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. So I'm gonna come here to the HTML code. So I'm gonna insert it here. And the way we do it is we add a div tag, and inside the div tag we can add basically the div tag in HTML. Basically, it assigns a section or a container for whatever you want to add inside it. So now I'm gonna add the image. So the way you do it is you use this tag img src. src is the source where the image is, and folder where the image is. In this case, it's in img forward headshot paragraph 1 and the paragraph 2. So basically, I added a div to create a container where I want to add the picture, the image, and then I added the tag img space src, standing for source, equal, and then you open double quotation and you add, basically it's the path to the image. In this case, it's the img folder, and forward. That's use some codes in the css to target it. So I'm gonna go to the main.css, and then I'm gonna, in this case, let me see, in this case I'm gonna go back to the index.html page, and I'm gonna give the container, which is the div, a class equal, and I'm gonna name it. Doing now, once you give the div a class or an ID, in this case it's a class, equal double quotation my image, or another name. It's basically it's a label that we can target from the CSS file to make some variation to main dot css. It's right here. And the way we target a class is by using dot my image, my image, dot my image. Then I'm gonna open braces, and inside it I'm gonna add some CSS codes to target the image to make it I wanna add it to the I wanna center it in a page instead of being on a side, on the left side. So what I'm gonna do, align item. Let's try the center. And the way you use the codes in a CSS, first you target the class or the ID. If it's a class, you use dot, the name of the class, and then you open center in this case. But it's not working. I don't know. I'm not sure why. Let me see. I tried the let's try the text align, because the picture in this case, it behaved like the text because we used text align equal center. Let's try another variation. Let's try the flex. Let's see, flex. I'm not sure how. I never used the flex. So okay, let's leave it this way since it worked. The text align equal center. It's kind of weird because we used text equal center. It should work, but it did not. It didn't move. And when I used the text align center, it worked, it moved. So let's see if we use the flex container. There's a way to use flex. Let's see. You always have to go to the internet to make a search whenever you get stuck while coding, because it doesn't matter how much you learn, you're not gonna remember everything. You keep forgetting how to target an image inside a div in HTML, CSS. Let's see what we get. So if we go to how to target, so it looks like other people are asking the same question. How do I target an image inside a div? Let's look at this. Okay, so image doesn't make sense. Let's see. Display image in fixed size. How to fit large, how to apply. Let's go to another page. If you have any questions, please submit them in a box, or if you have any comments or any use using HTML, CSS. So let's see. Okay, so that's what I use, text align, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess you use it. It says learn how to align image inside div using HTML, CSS. That's what we're doing now. It says the short answer is use the CSS text align property to center align single or multiple images in a div element. This is kind of weird, but is to do it. But now I'm not gonna go over other ways. It's gonna take a lot of time. So let's see codes, and then you go to the main.css. This is the styling sheet. That's where you type your styling sheet, the CSS codes. On the CSS code, it has the codes that style every element on the HTML page, because with the head tags you enter this line, link, open bracket, link, and then you add rel, it means relation, equal double quotation, style sheet, then you type href for reference or hyperreference, equal, and then you type the path to the CSS file. So in this case, it's in a CSS folder, and the CSS file is main.css. And once you add this one, it's gonna attach the page like this one here. And depending on what you use in a CSS styles. So without styling HTML plain, and I'm gonna show you now how it looks like. So if I remove this line here, just to show you how it looks like without let me see. So if I remove this style sheet, cut, so basically you have the this is the navigation links here. That's how it looks like, just hyperlinks, and it's dots here. And then you have the title, it's on the left side, it's not even in the center. And you have this kind of font, email marketing provider. But I'm looking at the ones. You see this line, the paragraph here, it's like it doesn't have any style or anything. My picture is on the left, no style, nothing. And same thing for the text and everything. This is how a plain HTML looks like. This is one of the pages. So add the styling sheet with the CSS styling codes, it's gonna look better, and you can control it, and you control the way it looks like, how it looks, the fonts, the colors, the borders, everything. How, so if you look here, let's see, I'm gonna put it back and to show you the difference between the HTML, the plain HTML, and when you add CSS styling to it. So I'm gonna add it here. All of these guys, it's this styling on the way it is here, and the color of the fonts, and the center, like how it's centered. And then you look here, everything, it came from the styling sheet. As otherwise you'll get a very plain page with HTML only, and it's so plain, and it has no design whatsoever. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, I can hang out for a few minutes. If you have any questions, just drop them in a box. If you have any question about the Visual Studio Code, where I type the codes to use for HTML page and CSS, and if you need to know anything about live server, how it looks like. So basically you can build a website on your own machine at home, and you can see how it looks like. My machine here, if you look at the IP address, this is 127.0.0.1:5500 index.html. This is my local machine here. It's not a www domain name. So let me go to the chat to see if somebody have a question. If you're watching now, please introduce yourself and tell me where you're tuning in from, your first name, and if you have any questions. And let me know if you have any ideas about future videos, so I can make more videos. Just want to type a question here about HTML, CSS, and how to use Visual. So I'm gonna hang out maybe 5 to 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. It depends. If you have any questions, I can hang out until Okay, so again, everything use different resources. You can still resort to the internet and make your search, just like now, like the way I found this, the answer to my question now, how to center a line image inside div using HTML tags. So I just in CSS HTML and I hit enter and I got so many options here, and you can go through each one of them, like the top maybe 10, 20, and you can find your answer, because sometimes you can forget. I'm taking some courses now online, and you should know the basics, and you forget the basics and the minor. I have books. I'm taking an online course about web development, starting with HTML, CSS. I didn't finish them yet. To make sure you use different resources. Do not get stuck to one resource, even if you're taking online courses. Even and you have now what I was doing, coding on the in front of you, even if it's done live or on video courses, you still have to try it hands on and to see how the codes looks like, and you have to type it. Once you start typing things and mistakes come up, you make a lot of mistakes, and this is how you learn your code. I mean, for a code editor, use Visual Studio Code. It's recommended by most experts, and in the beginning it might be overwhelming, but once you get used to it, it's very easy. And this is how it looks like. If you look on the top, you have the file, and it's like just a lot of similar to other software. You have the paste, find, replace. You got the selection, but you don't use all the extensions here, and I don't use a lot of them. I use the and it shows you what's installed, and the extensions I use are the boilerplate first, the and the extended HTML5 boilerplate, and then the live server, the one I just showed you, because the live server will show you how the code looks like on a web page, and you have to have the live server preview. So basically, live server and live server preview and the HTML boilerplate, and this is what I use. It says installed, and you can. It depends on your use extensions in marketplace. It depends, and this the Visual Studio Code. It's not only for HTML, CSS. You can use it for Python, for PHP, for Python and HTML and PHP, using HTML and CSS, because those two are the basics and the building blocks of a web page. If you want to get into web development and building websites, the best CSS, but you have to have a plan. But source, just a book or a course or your own computer, because you need some guidance. You need some guidance. Used it because I like Visual Studio Code. I'm trying to start the atom just to show you how it looks like. Okay, this is the ATOM atom. It's called atom. It does not have the options and the extensions of Visual Studio Code, but a lot of people use it. I didn't use it yet because I need something with more bells and whistles. So yeah, it's got some. Yeah, I didn't use it yet, but I have it ready on the machine. But I prefer the Visual Studio Code. So, yeah, the boilerplate have some basic elements before you start the index. From the top where it says 5 and all the way to the head here, or the header, I think, maybe the head only. This part is populated once you type HTML boilerplate, which is which you'll use for some of them are for the browser only, and then on the top it says this is the character edge, and then it will give you the title. The title is where you type the sentence that appears on the browser, on the top of the browser. SEO, search engine optimization, section of the search engines. So and this will be populated. It's for the size, I think, or the width of the page. And I think you'll have link this one too, so this way you don't have to type them every time, and then you just start from the simple. I built it myself in the using Visual Studio Code. So that's it for this video, guys. I showed you some basic information in a comment, and please provide me with some ideas on what kind of videos you'd like to see, what topics for future videos. Thank you.